Welcome back to yet again another chastised experience. Today, I want to have a more intimate and teachable moment for my audience. This is more catered towards the younger demographic, but I want to ensure that this is an all inclusive speech, and I hope that there are gems that everyone can take something away from. Let me get the screen ready. Okay. So today, the topic is the skill of confidence. I'm Chaz. If this is your first time tuning in, I appreciate you for coming in, whether you saw the title, the thumbnail, or you just stumbled in off the YouTube algorithm streets. It matters not how you got here, but I do appreciate you. If you did miss, I have a previous talk on this same thought pattern regarding hate, reframing hate as a signal and not a goal. So if you're interested in that, there should be a video on the screen somewhere. Please go check it out. So I want to continue on this path because the concept of hate was something that eventually led me to this topic, confidence. Now, what I want to talk to you about confidence is not the flex that you see online, but the kind you build in small, repeatable habits. I think of confidence more along the lines of a muscle that can either atrophy or that you can develop resilience and endurance through repetition and habit over time. So, why is it a skill? Most people treat confidence like a thing you either have or you don't have. And that could be the furthest from the truth. Confidence is a set of practical behaviors, I feel, that exist on a day to day basis. It's how you listen, it's how you enter in the room, and it's how you recover from awkward moments. If you practice the behaviors, the feeling follows. And that's my promise. And hopefully that's a bit of a relief to you. Now, when it comes to confidence, we want to work on three practical pillars. I have an example on the screen, but I'm going to freestyle and kind of do my own thing away from the visual. Now, there's micro pillars. It's something small that you can practice every day. There's 2-minute prep before any interaction, whether someone familiar or someone unfamiliar with you. And then there's also the reframe feedback with data that can back your practice every single day. So what do I mean by that? It sounds like a lot of mumbo jumbo, but I'll break it down for you. So in the first example, when it comes to micro exposures, you guys are probably like, oh my goodness, this dude is going absolutely molecular. But no, micro exposures are tiny, low stake actions that gently stretch your confidence zone and build confidence through repeated, small, controlled challenges. What does that even mean, man? What are you even talking about? So basically what you're going to do is you're going to practice one small thing every single day. And this is super simple, okay? So hold the door for someone that you don't know. Make sure that you make eye contact with individuals, okay? Ask a barista a follow-up question, okay? Introduce yourself to one new person a week, okay? These tiny wins snack into a baseline of social competence. So as an example, just ask, hey, how was your day, to someone that you don't know? And that's it. It's just that simple. Don't overthink these things. So when it comes to micro exposure, it's just things that take you out of your comfort zone and allow you to basically work that muscle, like I said, and build endurance in that regard. Now, the second pillar I want you guys to think about is the 2-minute prep. Before any interaction, spend 2 minutes on posture, okay? Breathe and breath and an opener, okay? So stand tall, breathe slow. Pick one simple line you can say, and it can change your physiological and your voice. And if you think I'm just making this up, let me just give you a little bit of research-backed information. So Stanford has led breathwork studies demonstrating that exhale dominant breathing is one of the fastest ways to calm your nervous system. Boy, this guy is really looking into this, isn't he? Absolutely. So when it comes to that, a good example would be before you have a meeting or a stressful situation that you know is coming up in the imminent future, you're going to inhale for 4 and you're going to exhale for 6. Now, it seems a little bit odd, right? But with practice, you'll notice that this will actually, and this is science-based, but longer exhalations reduce your physiological arousal. It'll lower your heart rate and it'll increase your vagal tone. Okay. Now you guys are like, bro, what is this dude talking about? But it'll shift your body basically out of a stressful state and into a more calm, relaxed, and dominant state. Okay. Now let's move on to the third pillar. Now you want to reframe feedback into data. Now, what does that mean? Okay. So just treat hate and criticism as signals, not verdicts. Okay. It's just information. It's not an all encompassing, it's not the end all be all of what it is that they say. You can't take someone's opinion and treat it as though it's concrete in that moment. So you're going to ask yourself, what's the useful information here? If it's noise, ignore it. If it's useful, adjust, okay? And this keeps you learning without getting crushed as you continue on. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you about is role play. Okay. Now, role play. Now, we're not we're not doing too many jokes on this video, so please bear with. We're trying to keep this as professional as possible. But role play. So I want you to think about, before you have an awkward small talk at a party, just think about how, just think about some of the mistakes you might have made in the past or some of the future mistakes that you can make. You want to think about the bad attempts, some of the things where you really fumbled mid conversation, and think about how you can correct that. So take 2 minutes to think about that. And this is another example of a micro exposure. Again, putting yourself in repetitious examples where you really widen your comfort zone and you continue to build on that confidence muscle. Think of it as a muscle. Now, in a second scenario, I want you to think about handling a rude comment. If you want, please go through some of my comments and some of my videos, okay? And instead of being impulsive in how it is that you react, which many of us could, you want to take a small, subtle pause. The data question. Again, is this noise? Is this useful? Right? And these are tools that you can equip yourself with even in real time. Okay? Now, I want you to also, in these scenarios, think about personal failures. Okay? I have many that I can reference, and I've had many interactions that I can reference. Okay? Now, my anecdotal evidence isn't going to necessarily, trump your experience, so I'm not going to muddy the waters with that. But just know that I am not perfect. I am just a character that you see here on the internet. And even this video is an example of how a person can be completely contrast and widen the spectrum in which they are perceived. Okay. Confidence is a muscle that you build, and you don't always have to flex it. Okay. Now let's continue on. Now let's work on a weekly plan. Okay. Now, a weekly practice plan when it comes to these micro exposures are super simple. On a daily, you can have 1 to 3 exposures, and this can only take 1 to 2 or 3 minutes out of your day. Think about that. It doesn't take hours. Okay. It just takes, just like working out. You don't have to be in the gym for 3-4 hours a day. You just get in 30-minute workout, in and out. Just do what you got to do. Now, before these events that you might have coming up, also think about doing your 2-minute prep. And then on a weekly, make sure that you're having a deliberate social session, a meetup, a coffee with someone new, maybe a coworker that you don't really speak to, maybe someone that you see on a regular, but you don't really know them. And yes, it might be awkward, but it's about becoming uncomfortable. That is how you develop this muscle, okay, through repetitions. Okay. And so also keep a log, and that's why we have the visuals here on the screen, is that we want you guys to annotate. This is something that needs to be more objective than subjective. You need to annotate your experiences. Think about and reflect on the moments shared with others and how it was that you grew in that moment. Now, in closing, when it comes to confidence, I just have to say this. Okay, there's many characteristics of confidence. And here's some examples here on the screen. But if you try one micro exposure every day for a week and you do these 2-minute preps before one event, I'm pretty sure you will see a difference. And if you do, then please come back to this video and drop me a comment. I would really appreciate it. This channel, I want to be a place for people to learn. I don't want to come across as though I am a know-it-all. No. I just want to be a vessel that can essentially help you guys see things differently. A prism, okay? Not necessarily a pipeline. where you just come in and you go out. I want you guys to come in and see things differently through a different lens, to reframe the light in a different way, a prism. Okay. But I'll keep sharing what I learned too. And if you liked the idea of reframing hate as a signal, and if you like the idea of treating confidence in micro exposures and developing this muscle over time, then please drop a like. Slap the like, drop a comment. Please let me know. But in the meantime, I appreciate you guys for being here. It does mean a lot. I am trying to be a little bit more transparent and somewhat of a helpful figurehead for the younger generation, or even those of my peers as well, or those that might be a little bit latter in life. So overall, I'm Chaz. This was a lesson on confidence. I do appreciate your time. Again, slap the subscribe if you do want to support. You can also Venmo, Cash App, all those cool things as well. They're here on the screen. And then also, I do have merch. I do appreciate all of your time. I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.